Hi again, everyone, and welcome to the Black Book Today. I'm Sam McKee, joined by Bob Hollywood Hayden. We are in the auctioneer's stand here at the annual Standardbred Horse Sales Company auction in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And Holly, it's safe to say that this is the World Series of horse sales.
With the Baseball World Series just over, it's just getting underway here at Harrisburg. If you have any thoughts at all of celebrating on harness racing's greatest stage, you got to be right here. Over 1,000 yearlings go through the ring the first 3 days of the sale.
And with 1,000 yearlings falling under the auctioneer's hammer, there's something in every budget, every price range, and every taste.
You can go for $37,000 for Bunny Lake. She turned out to be the 2001 Horse of the Year, or $190,000 for Rock and Roll Hanover, the 2005 winner. Either way, it certainly appears the 2009 Horse of the Year is going to be in this room.
And one of the unique things about this year's auction is the buzz over a fearsome foursome of first crop trotting stallions.
Something for everybody. Cantab Hall, the only 2-year-old trotter ever voted Trotter of the Year. You have Winsong's Legacy. He was 6 for 6 in finals, a Triple Crown winner. You have Tom Ridge, the 1-heat and 2-heat world record setter. He was the fastest ever trotter when he retired. And the overseas horse, Revenue. Indeed, something for all.
Well, Holly and I made the rounds. We talked to several of the movers and shakers in the industry, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the Black Book Today.
How important are videos for horses?
Very important. I love seeing. Sometimes I watch the videos before I even look at the horse, see if I like in the field. I like to see how they're reacting. I don't want a lazy horse in the field. I want them running around, like looking good gaited, wide in the front ends, and I like them to look sharp. So
sometimes you'll get the ones that look terrific, and you get them home, and they get to about 3 minutes and then can't trot a leg. So it's definitely an aid. It's not the whole box and dice.
Videos can help, and videos can also put you off.
Okay.
I'm 50-50 on videos.
Yeah, they give you some idea how the yearlings carry themselves in the field. The best thing is to go to the farms live.
Very helpful. I mean, you can kind of get an idea if a horse toes in or toes out real bad.
This year I actually made it to a couple farms, and I like that even a little bit better. But I think the video is a valuable tool. It's better than just watching them walk up and down on some concrete.
If by chance you don't recognize the face, you'll certainly recognize the voice. Roger Houston, the most popular harness announcer in the history of the sport, the voice of the Meadows over by Pittsburgh, joining us today. And you've worked in Pennsylvania since 1976. That was your first year at the Meadows. Can you believe how harness racing has evolved since that time?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I started out in the county fairs and moved on to Pompano and the Red Mile and then to the Meadows, and it just changes all the time. And when you sit back and you think about the career you've had, and you actually announced races when they didn't have wheel disc, or they didn't have mud fenders, or they didn't have driving colors in rain silks and stuff, it's totally evolved, and it's not the sport today that we had back in the 60s.
Is there one particular race that you've called that stands out above all others?
I have a number of races, but always coming to the top is Dragon's Lair's win in the Breeders' Crown 1984, 2-year-old pace at the Meadows, when he beat the Great Annihilator. And the other race, of course, is the Little Brown Jug race when Nansemond upset Albatross. And I still say that's the greatest jug of all time, and the greatest Breeders' Crown race, Dragon's Lair.
Two of the greatest upsets in the history of the sport, and two of the greatest spine-tingling calls, thanks to Roger Houston. Thanks for joining us today on the Black Book Today.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm talking to Mark Stacey, the trainer of last year's Canadian Horse of the Year. Mark, Majestic Sun, tell us a little bit about the magical season you had last year and what happened to him this year at 4.
It was pretty exciting last year. He did everything was pretty much asked of him. This year we rested him and we thought we'd try it again. Things started out good. Unfortunately, he ran into a small injury at the end there, and just bad timing. Big races were coming. So we decided to stop right there, and he stands stud at Terra Hill right now.
How many hours have you spent looking at the Black Book before heading to Harrisburg?
Well, I've probably been looking for about 3 weeks now, and a lot in the last week.
And do you have what you like marked off, or does that change when you get here?
I usually mark, then I come look at them. When I study a lot of videos too, and then match the videos with the horse itself on the floor, and then try to go from there and match it with the price.
Have you found the videos to be helpful?
Very helpful to me.
Okay, now what about first crops? Are you a first crop kind of guy, or?
It doesn't scare me too much as long as the mare's good and the horse looks good. And no, that don't back me off. I remember I bought Day in a Life. He was the first crop of Lifetime.
Are you a pedigree or a confirmation guy?
I would think more confirmation, but again, you gotta have both.
Okay, we're coming towards the end of the sale. You want to buy a horse. You're not sure. You're kind of on the fence. What does it come down to? The black book there, or that gut feeling you got?
I would think at the end of the sale, you're going more gut feeling.
And that's right there. I felt this is a good horse. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to get him.
Probably. No, if I'm not just going to buy for the sake of buying, but if I like something on confirmation, I'll probably look lesser on the pedigree.
Okay, Mark Stacey, thanks so much for dropping by.
Certainly another very strong consignment here at Harrisburg from Blue Chip Farms, and their president, Mike Kimmelman, is joining us right now. Mike, talk a little bit about your stallions that have been so successful in the New York program.
Well, by design, we went and got them not just to fit the program, but, with the knowing that the money was coming, we were able to be very competitive and select, certainly in the pacing stallions, what were two of the more sought-after stallions at that time. And they got tremendous books, people looking to take advantage of both racing the horses and selling them at places like here. So it's a little bit of fulfillment of a plan, but it's going pretty well so far.
One of the biggest stories right now in harness racing affects a horse that you plan to stand in the upcoming season. That's Equinox B, who was kidnapped or horse-napped, if you will, in Italy over the weekend. What can you tell us about that situation?
Well, we probably don't know any more than has been seen by the public here on the internet, which is, the horse was back in Italy, and, we were planning to race him in the Prix de Marique, and he had gone for a fertility test, and when he returned back from select breeders, somewhere, that evening, between then and the morning, he came up missing, and it's very unfortunate, and we hope that things work out there, and he's found.
Is something like that a major scandal in Italy on the front page of all the newspapers, or how is that treated over there?
I would bet that it's much more harness racing in Europe is much more part of the culture than it is here even, and I would guess it has gotten a tremendous amount of play.
It must do your heart good to see the revival of harness racing in New York thanks to the slots.
Well, there's no question that when that effort was, when we were chasing down that effort between the racetracks and the breeders and the horsemen, there was a real push by everybody to try to get this done, to bring it back on all levels, and at this point it seems to be working.
Well, Mike Kimmelman, what you're doing at Blue Chip Farm is working too. Keep up the good work and good luck this week at Harrisburg.
Thank you very much.
Charlie Keller from Yankee Land Farms is here. Charlie, you've been to a few of these sales at Harrisburg. How many would you say?
Bob, you're going to show my age here a little bit. It hadn't been 50, but it's probably in the 40s.
One of the biggest names in the sale here as a sire is Muscles Yankee. You bred Muscles Yankee. Did you have any idea he turned out to be this kind of racehorse turned sire?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you allow yourself to dream that high, but, he was a nice horse when we sold him and good bred, so we had high hopes for him, but I don't think you ever think things are going to turn out quite like they did. That's a pretty big dream.
Now, fairy tales do come true occasionally, like Fresh Yankee being sold for a little money and turning out to be Horse of the Year. You were there. Can that still happen? Can you spend a little money and get a lot of return?
Oh, yeah, you can still do it. Batting averages aren't good, though. It's still the better bred and the good conformation horses will have a big advantage over lesser pedigree horses, but, sometimes pedigrees lie, too. So, you can always hope, and you'll see good horses every year from, that were less expensive yearlings. So it's possible.
What's it like breeding a horse and then 2 out of 3 years, Muscles Yankee, Yankee Paco, winning the biggest race of all, the Hambletonian? What's that feeling like?
Well, I tell you, when Muscles won, I think it took 2 days before my feet touched the ground, and then just to have Paco win 2 years later, it was euphoria. It's that's what we're in the business for, and to think you'll ever win one and then to win 2 and 3 years, that was very, very special. And there again, it took a while for her feet to come back on the ground. I mean, it's for a breeder, it doesn't get too much better than that, I'll tell you.
For the buyer here at Harrisburg, what's more important, in your opinion, the pedigree or the conformation?
I'm a pedigree guy. I go to pedigree first before I look at anything at all. So I think pedigree is very, very important. I think the dam is a little bit more important than the sire, but both are important. I personally, well, I guess being a breeder, maybe I'm so much prejudiced, but I think it starts with the dam, and that's what it does for me when I'm looking.
Well, Charlie Kell, I think Yankee Land Farm is going to live on forever. Good luck this week at the sale.
Good, thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Quite possibly the busiest man at Harrisburg this week is Murray Brown, the president and general manager of the Standardbred Horse Sales Company. You're a veteran at this now. It's old hat, but how do you pull everything together organizationally?
It just takes a whole lot of time, and it's really not very pressing. The only segment of the sale that involves a great deal of stress is the mixed sale, because it all comes together in such a short period of time. But the yearling sale is great, and it's old hat. Just putting it together is almost automatic now.
And this year here at Harrisburg, we're seeing a huge influx of the European dollar and the Canadian dollar thanks to the currency levels, and that's great for you guys.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic because, especially the Canadians, they were very happy buying yearlings when they were paying a 37% premium on it. Now they're getting change for their dollar, so it's just fantastic for them. And I expect to see a significant increase in Canadian and European buyer.
And there's a huge regional sire stakes program thing that works to everybody's advantage. Ontario is great. Pennsylvania, New York, thanks to the slots, give buyers a lot of options.
Absolutely. I think the opportunity to make money in the horse business has never been as strong as it's been in the last couple of years, and I think the future promises several prosperous years to come.
And speaking of making money, you've made a little yourself with a horse you bought a share in, a 3-year-old trotter that probably everyone's heard of, Donato Hanover. Tell us about that.
It's been a fun ride. The money's been great, but I've been in harness racing 40 some years, and I've never had more fun than I did this year. I haven't missed one of his races, and he's truly an extraordinary horse, and anybody who's been associated with him has derived a great deal of pleasure.
You're a student of the game. You've followed this industry for a long, long time. I personally think Donato ranks with the all-time greats. Where do you put him?
I'm probably prejudiced, but I put him right at the top because, as strange as it might sound, I don't think he's ever been pressed, even yet.
And that includes the world record 150-1 at Lexington. Murray, where will he stand? What will the stud fee be?
He'll be standing at Hanover Shoe Farms in Pennsylvania this year, and his stud fee will be $20,000. Actually, I kind of look at it as a mixed blessing sort of thing, because I'd love to see him race another year, but the economics of it pretty much preclude that happening.
Well, Murray, congratulations on a great run with Donato and a great week here at Harrisburg. Best of luck.
Thank you, Sam. It's much appreciated.
Day one at Harrisburg wrapping up, and Bob Hollywood Hayden, we're certainly off to a great start. Tremendous bidding wars, and the market is strong.
I talked to 2 prominent owners. I asked the first one, did you get anything? He says, I couldn't get anything. I got outbid on everything. I talked to another. He said he got 4 horses. I said, did you get outbid? He says, I wasn't going to be denied. When you get this kind of infighting at that level, prices go through the roof.
And one thing we've seen in day one, for the first time in a long time, pacing fillies seem to be in higher demand than the pacing colts.
And all the talk we had about the first crop trotting stallions, apparently Muscles Yankee wasn't listening. He hasn't lost a thing off his fastball. A couple of 2-year-olds by the name of Muscle Mass and Dewey Cheatham and Howe are the reason. Muscles Yankee dominated in day one.
We're off to a great start here at Harrisburg. After the first session, we'll talk to you again tomorrow with more on the Black Book Today. Thanks for watching.